couple of things that you mentioned in your website that I really appreciated was it brings clarity, perhaps fulfillment, accountability, and joy, among other things. You know, a coach, a career coach, or a life coach can help you find those things. They can hold you accountable. But you know, talk a little bit about the process of seeking out a coach. So, you know, someone might decide just overnight, okay, I'm going to do this. But you know, you and I talked about the what, the why, and the how, I think. So maybe elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit about that too. That was in a practical way. But you know, can I back up just a minute? Is that okay? So, you know, you had sort of alluded to hiring a trainer to help you golf better. And what you know, this translates into answering your question a little. What you are looking for in a coach is really someone that's accredited, someone that's been professionally trained. I don't think coaching is something you just step into with all your experience in the business world. I don't, because a lot of people have challenges that are life-changing. And so I think you need to take that seriously as a coach. And so the real difference is, I mean, a coach can be a trainer, it can be a consultant, but it's different. A coach is more of like a cheerleader, more of like someone that digs deeper to uncover solutions that you yourself already have. You uncover them, and they also hold you accountable to success. So implementation, that's a coach. A therapist is someone that really goes a lot deeper with mental challenges, and a trainer is really a physical challenge. And so I found, trust me, a lot of people mesh all of those together and they come to me because I'm new to this. And I really like to create that delineation because I'm not, you know, a professional physical trainer, but I can train people in business, and that's consulting. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing more coaching and consulting. Okay. So sort of to answer your question, I think a coach needs to be certified. I mean, I'm not certified yet, but I will be this month. Yes, I'm working on it through the ICF. It's the International Coaching Federation. It's a world organization, international organization. Not to be confused
with the UCF.
Huh?
Not to be confused with the UCF. We're not going to put you in an octagon.
Yes. Well, if you saw my physique, you probably would not confuse me. Okay. But I think it's important for someone to have some benchmarks of what a coach should be. And then, you know, I also think the whole way people approach coaching, you know, it's more about the person that's being coached. So finding out what they need, uncovering those needs, and really facilitating to those needs in a way that's effective and successful for the coachee.
Yeah, that's great. You know, what you say about the certification, I think, is important because I would say, just my nature and my personality, I've been in my industry now for almost 35 years as well. And, you know, some people would look at me as the, you know, old guard of the industry in some respects. And I one of the things I've taken great pride in is mentoring some of the younger people along the way. But that's just been an informal interaction, you know, checking in on them and say that maybe them saying to me, hey, you know, this is what I want to do. I'm trying to connect with these people. What do you suggest that I do different from what I've been doing? And so I've informally tried to do that quite a bit. And I know in our industry, in healthcare, on the financial side of the healthcare industry, we're encouraging that all the time, because as it relates to people coming up in the industry, I've come across a lot of people who are in leadership positions today who would admit to you that earlier in their career, they didn't feel like they had the skills, they didn't feel like they had the confidence, they didn't feel like they had the ability or the knowledge of how to take that next step to advance their career. And they sort of got stuck in this cycle. It's like, you know what, I've been doing the same thing now for 20 years and it's really kind of getting boring. I'd like to do more, but I don't know how to go about it. So I think that's where a career coach and executive coach can really be beneficial.
Well, Bill, you bring up a really interesting point. I think you took the initiative to be a mentor. So congratulations on that. The younger generation is not.
Mm-mm.
They're very focused on, a side hustle. They're focused on really moving jobs, building a career. And so
In it for me.
that's probably why the professional coach role right now is so popular, because I think what you were doing is a lot of what I'm doing. Mentoring is very similar to that, but being a professional coach takes it up several notches, in that when someone's paying for your advice or your encouragement or your accountability, they take it seriously. I call it skin in the game. They're like, so if we agree that you're going to do this by Friday and you don't do it, so your coach is going to hold you accountable for that.
Yeah.
Whereas a mentor sometimes is more encouraging, and not as sort of abrasive, maybe. I hate to use that word, but
no, I know.
They keep them accountable. But I think you bring up a point of why maybe coaching is so popular right now. When I started out, Bill, I thought that my demographic was going to be like 30 to 60-year-old, like business owners. That's what I thought.
Right.
And I have clients that are in that demographic, but the 22-year-old to 40-year-old is really, they're very responsive to coaching. Wow. And I'm a religious person, and God's word talks a lot about wisdom and seeking wisdom, and coaching is really seeking wisdom in a lot of ways. Someone that's experienced, that understands clinical techniques that work and that can implement those in their life to success is wise.
Yeah.
And I didn't really touch on some of the words you said on my website, because a lot of people ask me this too, because my website does not use words like you used in business, like success, achievement, prosperity, larger income. So I think the words that I used on my website are words that I gravitate to, that bring happiness.
Yep.
And so a life coach, as opposed to a career coach, no, don't get me wrong, I'm helping some people with their career. Heck, I'm helping myself with my career, because this is a change for me.
Yeah.
But the holistic part of life coaching really brings joy and fulfillment. Those words that are on my website, that I think they resonate very important to me and someone's life in general.
That's
great.
Does
that make sense?
Absolutely. Talk about what somebody, if they're contemplating tapping into and working with an executive coach, a career coach, a life coach, what are some things that they specifically should look for, and what they should also expect? I mean, do they need to know you already? If it's somebody that is it important that they already have a relationship with their coach so that they kind of know some of their history, or what would you suggest there? Do you meet with people on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? Do you set a schedule based on their needs, and it, touch a little bit, give people an expectation of just a I don't know, a range, whatever's appropriate on what something like that might cost that might be a something that's keeping someone from wanting to do it too. Talk about that a little bit.
That's a great question. It really is. So first, like I mentioned, I think you should look for a certified coach, someone that's actually been professionally trained. Typically for me, and I think in the industry, people really take coaching in 45-minute sections. So I think it's once a week is a good idea. And for me, I usually hire people, or they hire me, and we work with them for about a month at a time. So it's 4 sessions at a time.
Okay.
And I think what they should expect is a safe space. Everything is confidential.
Sure.
They should understand really what coaching is, sort of like what I touched on, what the difference between therapy is and coaching. Because believe it or not, some people do come to a coach and they really do need a professional therapist or a counselor or even psychiatrist. And
Right.
that's not what I do. Um, they should come with expectations of success. If you're paying someone to help you, I think the groundwork and accountability and plan should be expected. Um, the cost, I mean, it's not super expensive. I guess it depends on who you're coaching with,
Sure.
but it's generally charged by the hour or by the month or by
Yeah.
the quarter.
Unless you're
Um,
doing a consulting engagement. You mentioned that you do some consulting. That might be set up a little different.
it is. Consulting is at a different rate,
Hmm.
both of which are billed hourly. Um, there's a contract before we ever start. There's actually an assessment. So what's another thing you should expect is, at least with me, I like to sit down with a person and sort of do a comprehensive life assessment of where they are. And it's a practical, literal experience. Okay. You'll walk away at least knowing a rating or number assessment of each area of your life.
Yeah.
And in relationship to challenges and goals that you'd like for your life.
Right.
Um, and that's complimentary. I think sometimes you don't fit with a person. So I think you should expect to be able to sit down with a coach and talk with them and see if it is a good fit.
Right.
Uh, and then, I think really the expectation is success. I'm not doing this to just sit down and chat with people, you know, uh, like I said, one of my goals was to really impact people with joy and fulfillment. And
Yeah. That's
I
great.
don't think that comes with one goal. I want to feel more fulfilled, Don. What can you do for me that I feel fulfilled? Okay, that's a broad goal.
Right. Right.
Um,
You
it
got to peel
comes,
back some layers, I imagine, to really help get to the source of that and what's going to make that person happy.
you do, and it
Yeah.
can be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So there's a huge trust element. I think
Yeah.
you have to be able to trust each other,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's a process, and I think it does take time to get there. And
Yeah.
so the expectation should be that you have success. And if
Yeah.
you're not with that coach, you need to look at a different coach.
Well, and I want to emphasize too, from the conversations you and I have had, it could be a little bit more of a business transaction too. You use the example of someone that wants to, take their business to the next level, right? They're a $10 million company and they want to be a $50 million company or,
They
or
want to be
whatever.
a billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a
Right. What's
client
it
that
going to
wants.
take? What's it going to take to get there? And I think that's important.
So now that you bring that up, so yeah, I have a client that wants to take their company to be $1 billion company, and they have a time frame. And so that requires two things. It does require some coaching, but it also requires consulting, specific consulting, which is a completely different thing. And it involves people in their business. It involves a lot of different elements, but that's something I get excited about. And I feel very confident I can bring to the table and help business owners, entrepreneurs, and really just people in life hit those benchmarks and success.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Hey, as we wrap this up, I really appreciate the time, but this has been a great conversation, and I just really want to encourage anyone that might be listening to us to remember that they don't have to feel like they're on an island by themselves, right?
Right.
There are a lot of resources out there, just like for anything else that you would seek help for, whether it was your health, your mental health, or your marriage or whatever. There are resources out there and can really help you to, as you said, bring clarity and help you bring the joy back into either your job or the life's too short to be doing stuff that we don't like to be doing. And
You're right.
so I really appreciate your thoughts. Any closing comments here before we sign off?
Well, you know what, Bill, I appreciate you taking some time and highlighting this this industry, I guess.
Yeah.
Had you ever thought of having a coach in your career?
Yeah, there have been times when I have, more of a, from a business development perspective, hey, help me get the deal, help me get this meeting, you know, those kinds of things. But it's been, I would say honestly, it's more, you know, I've seen people in the industry that I've really admired and consider to be mentors, and have, you know, really leaned on and asked a lot of questions of over the years, but never, you know, never felt like I formally had to go out. It's now that I'm getting later in my career that I think about, okay, what am I gonna do down the road? You know, what is retirement gonna look like? Or, you know, what are some additional things that I've always had interest in that I'd like to expand on and explore further, you know? And so those
Well,
are certainly some of the things.
no, I mean, that's good to hear. I mean, those are all very wise things. And the reason I ask you is because I do think, I do appreciate you highlighting this profession, because
Yeah,
it was something that I was not really aware of, nor was I comfortable enough to
yeah,
hire.
yeah,
Um, but I'm here to say, you know, you highlighting it and me understanding it much deeper, there's a huge benefit. It's a tool in someone's toolbox or arsenal of
for sure.
success in their life. And
Absolutely.
so I just appreciate you giving me the opportunity too, as a new coach. I'm very new. The opportunity to just talk with you about it and really uncover maybe some things for myself as well. Could I plug my website?
Absolutely.
It's donkellercoach.com,
Okay.
and it is live. And like I said, I will be a certified professional coach at the end of December of this
Yeah.
year.
I encourage you to use LinkedIn and Instagram or whatever, and just put some little tidbits out there from time to time, if nothing else, just to help people and give people things to think about. I try to share content quite often because I think it can really be valuable.
It
So
is. It is. What
I
you're doing
encourage
is
you to do that.
extremely valuable. What you're
Yeah.
doing is extremely valuable. Thank you, buddy. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
you'll be the next Simon Sinek out there. You know,
No.
you'll have such a following. Let's have breakfast at Reveille when you hit 1 million followers.
Oh, I don't know. You know, my goal was not that, but
I
yeah,
know.
let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, I enjoyed it a lot. I appreciate the conversation, and I look forward to hearing more about how you're doing, and maybe even tapping into you for some thoughts on some things that I've been thinking about. So thanks so much for that.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for this time. Have a great holiday. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks.
Happy holidays, everybody.